We are celebrating 50% growth year over year in online gaming, and the same for mobile gaming, and maybe more, just like 60%. Last year we have 20 billion downloads on app stores, and this year we are expected 53 billion download on the app stores. My friends, Mahmoud Khassaouni, he's the CEO of Quirkat. Iyad Ahmed, the CEO of Games XP, which is the newest game publisher in the region, actually. And Noor Khreis, who's representing the Jordan Gaming Task Force as a CEO, and he's the CEO of Maisel Ward for mobile development. I will ask my guests to introduce their companies and introduce themselves, and then we'll start with the questions. Iyad, please.
My name is Iyad Ahmed. I'm the CEO of Games XP. Games XP is a games publishing company targeting the Middle East. Soon we are going to launch the first gamified portal, gaming publishing portal, targeting Middle East, of course. Also, we are going to launch an action RPG game, war game, and third-person shooter game.
Thank you. Noor Khreis, as my colleague Muhannad, I sat on as chairman of the Jordan Gaming Task Force and the CEO of Maisel Ward. Maisel Ward, we started early in the mobile gaming since 2003, so we have been 10 years doing mobile games. We went through the regional growth and the international growth in terms of gaming and the conversion that happened from PC console into the mobile these days. We learned a lot, and we would love to share today some of the learnings that we had through the past years.
I'm Mahmoud Khassaouni. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Quirkat. The name might seem weird, but the name actually originates from our region and is a game that used to be played in the sand with little stones. Variations of it also include a game called Mancala, which is still played in the region. It found its way to the Andalus and then to the United States, and it's believed to be the first ever board game and the origin of the game checkers. So the name is very symbolic for us. We're 8 years old, and we develop games for multiple platforms. We develop for the PC, for online, for the web, for mobile devices. And we've recently focused a lot on console development, so we've become a licensed PlayStation 3 developer and also a Nintendo licensed developer for Nintendo of America. We've had a few successes along the way. One of our biggest names and games was Arabian Lords, which was a PC game. And more recently, we developed a PlayStation 3 game, which is just launched worldwide last month.
Thank you. Okay, as we saw in the past 2 years, many new gaming companies, they start their business in the region. Some of them in the development, core development, some of them are publishers. And we have an offices for international companies in the region. So just I need to hear from you guys the general status of the market. Where are we? What are the future of the gaming market in this region? And of course, internationally, as we all know, it's an international competition, it's not locally. Yes. So we'll start with Iyad, since he's the last one who started his company.
Yes.
So we know why you start this company now.
First of all, I worked, actually I managed the games business at Yahoo Maktoub for 4 years. So I've successfully published like more than 18 titles in the Middle East. And actually, I saw the potential clear. So whenever we launch the title, the KPIs is very clear. We meet the targets all the time. And to be honest, there are just like 3 or 4 publishers. I'm saying here game publisher company because we don't do games, we don't make games. We just bring Eastern or Western games to the region. We close the deal, pack it up, and just sell it to the Middle Eastern users. So the potential is clear. The user can bring you minimum like 50 cents. So it's clear. And the acquisition per user is very low in the Middle East, actually. So here I see the big potential in the Middle East. That's why I started the business. It's been like 4 years, my experience. And I'm packed up with a good investment group, actually 2 investors. One of them, the lead investor, is N2V. The other one is confidential. I cannot say his name. But this is it. So that's why actually I'm into this business.
Can you tell us more the difference between the development and publishing?
Now, development actually are more into studios. Actually, I can consider, for example, Maisel Ward as a development company. So they create the concept of the game, they develop it, they choose the technology, they make lots of work actually to make the game ready to be published. Now we have the easiest procedure here, where we get the game as is and we market the game and bring traffic.
You make the money for us.
Yes, and for us too. So actually, to be honest, the risk is on Noor's side. At our end, we just risk few amount of few money just to promote the game and to package it for the Middle East. If it doesn't work, we will lose little, while Noor will lose a lot. But so the publishing service is actually, it's a service oriented company, and our strategy is to productize the service. Means anyone who wanted to publish a game, it will be very easy. There will be like an open APIs where he can just integrate single currency where he can just use, so the payment option will be available for him from day one. So anyone who wanted to publish the game in the region, our target to make it in 3 days. So once he decided, in 3 days he will be up and running.
Thank you. Noor, you are in the market since 10 years maybe, or
2003, yeah.
2003. And you developed mobile games on the early stage, even before the smartphones.
Of course.
And you deal with almost every single operator in the region, and now you are dealing with every single app store over. And actually, you developed a Facebook games. Why you are in the development part, not the publishing? Actually,
very good question, because Iyad made the publishing part easy. It's not an easy part, actually, and it's one of the most expensive capital required part of the whole ecosystem, or the system that we went. Of course, both of us we do have our own responsibilities in this launching a game. Yes, true. We started early. Actually, it's funny, Mahmoud and myself, we started actually too early. Sometimes we laugh about it, because we started where there was no concept of gaming here in the region. And we paid very hard from efforts and just introducing games to telcos at that time and operators, and the time where branded games were coming from outside and challenging us as local game developers. Our growth helped us today to understand better the market, the mobile market. But I want to go back a step back to the regional market. We are an emerging market. We still stepping the baby steps. Still, we have a lot to do. We cannot call we have a gaming industry. We're still in the first building blocks. So we cannot blame or today say the industry is not doing well or it's doing well, because still there is no industry. The market is still in the first steps, and that's but the interesting part that we are one of the most growing potential emerging markets here in the region. So so yes, coming back to the Facebook games, we don't have Facebook games. We do have Facebook related to our mobile games that supports our gaming communities. Basically, because we focus 100% on the handheld, the mobile side. So.
Thank you. Mahmoud, you have the same story of Noor, and you start very early.
Yes.
But
you
Mahmoud has a Ferrari and I don't. I'm still
and you
with my
start,
Citroën.
you start with hardcore gaming immediately, and you spend a lot of money actually
Yes.
in the early beginning, and now you have your own way on the console game development.
Yes.
So can you tell us more about this and the potential of these type of games?
I think some from listening to my friends here, the games industry is one of the biggest industries in the world, in the tens of billions of dollars worldwide. It's surpassing that of the film industry. Yet, year on year, I see in attendance also in Jordan, you can tell by the attendance here that the interest in gaming has not matured. And it's a two-way street. I think when the interest in listening to gaming companies also increases, it will help the industry because it will send the right message to academia and to resources that we need to hire. So yes, we've been in the industry for 8 years. All of us here have produced successes that are humongous compared to our size, to our ability, to our investment community, and so on. So yes, we took the very, very, very hard way. We jumped into the deep end of every pool in the country, and we basically said every civilization in the world has expressed itself through gaming. Yet the Arab world in general, and this is not a Jordanian topic, has not yet understood, I think, the value and the tremendous opportunity that is with the games industry. So yes, we started on the tough lane, and we developed for console. But yet, because of our maybe location and our costs, we can keep it more competitive than international companies. Like I said, last month we launched, and this is the first ever for an Arab company, the first PlayStation 3 Sony published game globally. We developed it here in Amman, in Suwafiyah, 8 languages: English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Arabic, Russian, and Japanese. So it went live in Europe and is going live next month in the United States. So I guess my point is, yes, like Noor said, we've been going for 8 years. We started about 7 too early. Now it's starting to happen, and we're hoping that by next year there'll be a lot more guys sitting with us here, and there'll be a waiting list outside this room for people to actually come in and listen to this humongous opportunity.
Excellent. One of the things, since I'm coming from the payment side, one of the things that it's always crossed my mind, can we compete the international players? And as we know, most of the international players today, they localize their games. They come to the region either alone or through publishers, local publishers, or through international partners like Yahoo or Yahoo Maktub in the region. Are we able today to compete with those people? We know that they are backed with huge investments, experience, big offices, everything. Can we do that? Go ahead.
I definitely think the answer is yes. Historically, we've been able to compete at every level, so that I don't think we lack the mental skills or anything. We certainly have more money in the region than the entire world, almost. So it's a question of honing that energy and that money into this channel. Today, we are competing. I know Noor developed in Eastern Europe and in many countries in Europe, and we also now are competing. Our game is now being rated very high. One of our last international games was rated 9.5 out of 10, which is very, very, very rare. Now, I think to answer that question, there's a whole topic to the ecosystem of the games industry. And these big guys like Yahoo and Google and everyone, they only exist because of the ecosystem. I keep joking about it, that the 2 founders from Google, if they had started in Jordan, they'd still be at the iPark because they would not be getting the investment, So it's an ecosystem. So, for instance, we've created a huge success with PlayStation 3. Noor has been around for 8 years. This gentleman is starting a first ever games publisher in the Middle East. I can bet you
No,
there
it's
are
not the first, actually.
second, third,
Third,
fourth,
yeah,
Third or fourth.
handful of investors. So this is where the investment community has to jump in and start coming and knocking on people's doors. They might not choose us, they might not choose any of us, but without them, nothing. We really need to complete this ecosystem. Universities have a humongous role for us to be able to compete, because today we're all leaving, considering establishing an expansion in other countries, which is a big shame. So our universities also, sorry, it's a long-winded answer to a question, but the ecosystem has to come into play here as one piece and create clusters around the gaming business so that we can get to that level.
Okay, coming back, but just Mohannad, yes, we can. Of course, we do, as just to confirm what Mahmoud said, we do have games that is now on top app stores, not only in our region. We had a good in India, in Latin America, etc. So we don't lack. The ecosystem does not exist. We are trying, as you know, as here in Jordan with the Jordan Gaming Task Force since 2 years. It's a hard job. It's not easy. It's not a country-based efforts. It's a regional effort. The region is not collaborating. Unfortunately, the only collaboration we got is it's part of the region, but it's also away. It was Turkey. When we tried to build collaboration between the Jordan Gaming Task Force, the only collaboration we got is from Turkey. But the region, the investment, which is I can name the Gulf region who's investing in gaming, are not looking to local Arabic talents, and we find ourselves seeing big companies coming from Japan, coming from China, etc., being investing in them from local regional money, and the local talents that we have all over Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, etc., as being left aside. So because the ecosystem is not there, because I don't blame the investor, because the investors are seeing a more mature ecosystem that they can communicate much better than what they have here in our region. So it's a whole regional effort, and I think that's the reason today on the MENA ICT we are talking about this topic.
Okay.
Sorry, can I just add one point on what he just said? I think you're being nicer than I want to be, because I think there's a bit of short-sightedness on where the sources of money in the Middle East are, in that in the gaming business, you cannot buy your way to fame. It won't happen. It's not like any other industry. It is homegrown, grassroots, and it has to happen by local developers. Like I said, every civilization has created successes in it. You can't buy it. And still the Arab model is to buy this success. There's a reason why the big companies in the world, in many industries, are present in our world. Why aren't they present in the games business? Why isn't Sony just establishing a huge 300-man studio? Why isn't Electronic Arts flocking to Egypt? There's a reason. Because this industry is, only for the tough, not for the faint at heart. You really have to start from the bottom, create stories, and then create gameplay around those and publishing channels.
Actually, I have two positive points here. From Games XP perspective, actually, which is the publishing services that we do. First of all, we don't have competitors. Everyone is our potential partner. So this is how we look to the market, and that's why, because of the business models that we follow. So anyone in the market could be our partner, no competitors at all. The other point is Middle East and North Africa come at the end for any studio wanted to publish his game on the business, and you know this. For example, if I'm a studio and I created a game, I mean a foreigner, like Eastern or Western studio or American studio. If I created a game, I will think first to the American market, then Russian, then Germany, China, and the Far East, from Venezuela to Indonesia, Malaysia. All of these are actually big regions in terms of potential revenue. The last area I can think of is MENA, and this is what I can see actually from. So you need to spend time to convince the developer to come to the region. So that's why if they give everything to us, so we will manage all of the operations. So they can focus on the other region and leave this region to us. This is the optimal solution for them. So I believe from a games publishing services, the point actually is positive, however you can take it. It's either potential partner if they want to publish it themselves, or they will leave this region because it comes with a low priority. We will manage all of the operations on a revenue share basis.
Excellent.
Muhannad, I was thinking, would it be good to show a visual of the quality what we're talking about?
Yeah.
So I think once it's ready, this is a game that went live last month worldwide. And it's, like I said, it's in 8 languages, and it's being sold on the PlayStation Network for digital download. Just to give you an idea, it's a 1-year project, and about 8 people worked on it. Top-end skills in terms of programming. Here it is. This is a year's effort, and it took a lot of sacrifice by our team, and it only requires people with passion. So I noticed from the earlier session they talked about employment and so on and so forth, and this is maybe a topic you want to talk about. But this required people that wanted to do this regardless of how much money we can pay them. So this is we're trying to create an avenue for people with passion for this kind of thing. And till this day, we find people surprised when we say, "Do you want to work on a PlayStation 3 game?" And they're like, "Of course." I'd leave everything to do this, and this is very important.
Interesting. Okay, since we are addressing the ecosystem of the industry, I have 2 questions here. One of the collaborations between the Middle East companies. Actually, I never heard about any collaboration between the Middle East gaming companies. It's never happened between a developer and publisher, or even between 2 developers. So why is that? Why we are not collaborating with each other?
Muhannad, again, I will come back into maturity. We are maturing. It's a few of companies who started early, and probably it's time to see a more soon, hopefully, companies. We collaborate. We don't mind to collaborate, but we are few handful today who reach to the maturity of collaboration. This is why we collaborate with probably players outside of the region, because they have the same or probably advanced maturity level. So it will come. Again, we don't want to blame ourselves, our people, of not being doing this, but I think it will come.
Yeah, and add to that, of course, the ecosystem of the gaming is changing. Last year, everybody was doing Zynga, everybody was doing Farmville. Every investor wanted people to develop Farmville, Sheepville, Cowville, everything like
Anythingville.
that. Yeah. So when it's changing too fast to collaborate. But when we first started, Noor, you forgot that I had games and I had no idea how to develop them, how to deliver them to operators. So he delivered them for us.
Yeah.
So but it's changing very quick now, and the App Store is making everybody so independent, and the cost is much lower for casual games, so that it's hard to collaborate. So you can collaborate on individual levels, like with very high skilled artists and extremely talented programmers, but the project itself is not big enough to.
From the publishing perspective, actually, Muhannad, collaboration is a challenge. Now, first of all, as I told you, everyone is a potential partner. So we don't mind we are transparent. We can show anything unless there is an NDA between us and the developer. So in general, and I believe this is because of the events. There is no big event in the gaming industry in the Middle East, not in Jordan even. Actually, Jordan is more mature than any other country in MENA, in the games business, I mean. So we need to fight maybe to build a good event for games. And I believe from there, publishers and studios will get together. They may set a platform for the work. For example, in the publishing area, when I speak with a developer. He said, yeah, I want $500,000, for example, as a license fee. Now, we cannot afford this, and the potential is not to this level, to be honest, to risk $500,000. And I believe this is because of the collaboration. They go and ask other publishers. They give them some wrong data, and they give them like high expectations from our region. But if there is like one platform, we can agree that license fee can go from this to this. The revenue share can go from this to this. So no one can just come and tell me like an unreasonable number.
Interesting. Talking about events, the gaming events in the region. Do we have really good events in the region? What I know
Besides the Jordan Gaming Summit, I don't think so.
What I know is only we have the Dubai Game Expo, which is an expo style, and we have the Jordan Gaming Summit, which is more technology, not only coding or and business event. And I think we have another one for indie game development. I'm not sure if I think they announced the third one already. So is this enough?
Having, yeah, I believe it's not enough at all. So having like session in a big event like MENA ICT is not like having like a gaming conference that has everything into it. You know, you've been attending many conferences before. I'm talking something like Gamescom, GDC, I don't know, G-Star. G-Star started just 2 years before, I don't know, 2 or 3 years before, and now it's maybe, from my perspective, it's the biggest gaming.
I will link it with what Mahmoud said. If it's not coming from the region, when GDC or Gamescom were created, because the potential were coming from inside Europe, inside the US, and companies were coming from there, and then we came as an international players visiting and etc. And until we get what Mahmoud was mentioning, the rooted local talents coming up with companies, we will never reach to the Gamescom size or GDC. Nevertheless, the effort that Dubai is doing for the past years is really good, because it's introduced the region in a way or another to the gaming industry, or what the gaming companies. And ourselves here in Jordan, we are trying. It's, yes, true. We do have a room of 350 tech-savvy, games passionate, etc. But they are from Jordan. And again, I believe Jordan cannot just only play the role of building an industry here in the region. And that's what we were all talking about for the past 2 years, touring in the region. Unfortunately, as I said, I don't see any move from our fellow in the region. Still, we do have not understand the teamwork in building this industry regional-wise, but we will reach one day to have a Gamescom or GDC. That's for sure.
Inshallah. Talking about talents, do we have talents? And do we have talents from the academic part?
I will sound. I know I will sound. As you know, I'm enrolled with the Jordan Gaming Lab. So I just 2 days ago I was training around 300 school students between 14 to 16 for the 4th app challenge cycle we are doing. So we work with the grassroots with King Abdullah Fund on something called the app challenge. We do manage the gaming lab. And I see that, of course, talents is there. It needs some effort, some time, and we need to give them the trust. If you go to the pavilion now, or the stands now, the Jordan Gaming Labs, you see 4 of our students. They are 16 years old. They started 2 years or 1 year ago with us. They created their 3rd iOS game. They have one published one on and we work with them from scratch. When they enter, they hardly, and they are from, just to mention, they are from a public school. So public school in Jordan, we know the setup, and they are from public school. We gave them the opportunity. We trained them, and honestly, they as Maysal word, they are helping us even to test our games. We need, time will come with the talents. this is my passionate answer. The non-passionate answer I will leave Mahmoud because he will answer on my behalf, non-passionate answer.
Good answer. I think the question used the word talent.
Yes.
Do we have talent? We have amazing raw talent. Do we have skill? Do we have career paths that are fair to these people? Not at all. It's just like, and I always use the analogy now in my head, I mean, in football. We're amazing football players up to the age of maybe 15. Yeah? But then we never produce a Messi. Really, that is exactly the answer to this question. In that to produce a Messi or a Ronaldo, you have to have the leagues, you have to have the sponsorship money, you have to have the career path, and you have to make sure this person is dedicated in his prime years to produce the best ever football. And this is exactly the case we have here. Every person I've met that's graduated as a computer engineer or a programmer thinks programming is a low-profile job. He will take it for 1 year, regardless of the salary, until he can become manager and leave programming forever. So where are these people that develop and program for 10 years, 20 years? Where are the people that work in the likes of NASA, dedicated onto one programming language for their entire lives? This path lacks. So I really think my best analogy is in the football field. Why we cannot produce a Messi is why we cannot reach the level we need to organically to create the success stories that this Arab world deserves. We have more stories, we have more people, we have more unity in language than the entire world. Yet we cannot produce, we flock to other games, we flock to other investors worldwide, and unfortunately, companies like all of us here, we've just recently announced that we're expanding into the UK, into London. I know Noor is considering that and other locations. We have no choice so that we can get to the skill, not just the pure talent or موهبة.
I can add to this actually two things. First is in the other countries actually that I saw the game studios are doing great. You can find universities or academic entity that games is part of their name. So when you get a talent, they studied games in terms of games design, games development, or even games publishing. Here you can have talent that they have what we call the emotional discretionary energy, where they studied games because they have passion toward games, and then after they finished, they found like a solid industry in games. They work there and they just have their career into games. I mean, here you need big companies for anyone to look. If I want to work at Maisel Ward, I can see that there is a seal where I can reach. But if Maisel Ward is an empire, then yeah, I would love to study this and then go and fight to work at Maisel Ward.
Can I just don't know about that. Yes and no. I think academia will play a role, of course, but I'm an agriculture engineer, and I have been doing game for the past 10 years. My study was entomology, so insects, and I think I have good knowledge in games. I run a company for the past 10 years. I have people who are working with me, have never studied games, and they are doing games that is selling, being downloaded millions of times and being rated by 100,000 of users. Academia will come, but I think I will go to the talent, raw talent, and the management and how to build the Messi type. We lack this, but I think we have to put an effort more. We know that academia is a long way to do. Mahmoud and myself, we started this early to work with academia, and we failed. Mahmoud put a stop to that. We tried. My position as gaming task force, I'm continuing, but I see there's obstacles in that track. But finding, let's say, the manager who takes this talent, the raw talent, and building it and shaping it and it's a chain cycle. So myself, I have to understand it as a company. My investor has to accept that I have to work on this raw talent and accept the time that it was needed, and the market has to wait for me until I can work with this raw talent. So academia, I think, I'm against that. To be in a gaming company or to be having someone has to be studying game design, or I am
No, I believe
as
he-
an agriculture engineer.
No, actually, what I mean is you can find like, if you want to hire someone, and there is like an academic institute that can just produce people. Of course, you are not going to hire them all, but you can select. Here, it will give you just like a source where you can pick some talents. Anyone who wanted to study something related to games, then he has passion toward games. If he got like more, and he studied like 4 years games, then you may get really better talents. That's why I'm saying this is the emotional discretionary energy,
Yeah.
because he choose to work in games, not you forced
Force
him
him.
to work, and yeah.
But this is what's happening today. And as Mahmoud said, people are coming because they want to work on PlayStation 3. People are coming because they want to be part of a fun environment. The gaming is the culture we are offering inside our company that is attracting our people. I have 30 team members today in my team, and most of them from 7 to 8 years with me. Most of them outside from villages, actually, from different cities in Jordan. What attracted them, as attracted and Mahmoud, is that the fun part of being in the gaming industry. So I think the passion is the driver here. Yeah, but you know, we miss the talent management.
We don't have much time, but I'll go directly for a question for Iyad. You told us that you are starting a gamified portal,
Yes.
and this will be, I think, the first gamified portal in the region.
Yes.
So just I need to tell us more about gamification
Correct.
concept in general
Yes.
and your gamified portal.
Yeah. Now, gamification as a concept is implementing gaming elements or mechanics into any portal. Now, this concept has not been applied in the media. Actually, it has not been. It shouldn't be like connected just to the games. It should be connected to anything you do. So that's why you can find, like in Twitter, for example, they consider leaderboard as one of the gamification element, which is the leaderboard. Now, the portal that we are going to build, it's a games publishing portal. Means that any games that we are going to publish, it will be integrated on top of this portal. So, and users will just have one single, for example, login to access more than one game. There is like a leaderboard across all of the games. There's like a scoring and pointing system with a Hall of Fame. So these are the gamification elements. And globally, there are like 10 companies. They provide what we call software as a service gamification platform, where you just plug and play components into your site to increase loyalty, to increase the viral elements inside the site. So to give you like an idea, in any media site, content site, users can spend from 5 to 10 minutes maximum per visit. If you include the game's mechanics on top of it, I can guarantee that users can spend from 15 to 30 minutes per visit, which is huge. I believe if anyone from a content background, he knows that the maximum that they can reach is 10 minutes per visit. Having the game's mechanics, it will double or triple this time spent inside.
Just I will go further in this. If I'm a trading company,
Yes.
how I can benefit
Sure.
from the gamification concept?
Yes, you can use it for your employees, for example. This is what we call the rewarding and pointing system. For example, if you come early every day, you get points. At the end, points means money. So, you can get rewarded in many ways, either money or position. If you finish on time, that means I give you more points. So pointing systems, that's what they do for trading companies. but this is to retain employee, not to retain customers.
Okay.
So yeah, you can apply gamification everywhere, and it happened actually on Dell and Samsung. Samsung, they have done gamification to their users. Dell implemented gamification to their employees, to retain employees. So this is it. And actually, some of the companies, they are doing this indirectly, but they don't know that the name is gamification. Like the stock plan. Stock plan is actually is a gamification element. I can consider it as a gamification element or mechanic.
Okay, so just to wrap up this session, where are we going? What are the future of this industry?
I think I think we are going more mobile. We are going more tablets. The world is turning to be smart, and we have to turn with this revolution of smartphones, tablets, and I think we will have a handheld more and more between the hands and less expensive. Every day we can witness this, and I think we will go into a complete mobility, and games has to follow, including mobility like PSP Vita or all the handhelds that is coming more smart way. So I will go into saying the future is in terms of games going more mobile. How we are going as Jordan, as on wearing my hat as a Jordan Gaming Task Force, I think we thankfully for a good support that we got from King Abdullah II Fund for the past years, creating 2 gaming labs, free access for everyone, Amman and Irbid, doing every year 2 to 3 camps, doing the app challenge. I think we are building slowly, but in a strong way, our capacity as Jordan game developers. More and more talents are coming. So we have the structure that is being supported in a good way. We need more support in a group way. So I have for Jordan, hopefully, inshallah, we'll be building a strong hub that can be also an access for the region in the near future.
Iyad?
Yeah, if I want to talk about the potential in the Middle East, not just Jordan, of course, because as a publisher, of course, we focus on the Middle East. Jordan still is low in terms of purchase power. So I believe it's still increasing. Hopefully we will not reach the diminishing point where where everything will just decrease. But no, it's increasing. As you mentioned at the beginning, we are all excited with the 50% year-over-year growth in terms of money, at least in the games industry. And yeah, hopefully the growth will last for 10 years.
Yeah, hopefully. Mahmoud?
I think very simply the Arab world needs a success story,
Yeah.
or more, I hope. Similar to what happened with, of course, Maktub and Yahoo, which was amazing for everyone. I think the Arab gamers and our clients really need to have a bit more faith in that we can produce international quality games on any platform. Noor focused on the platforms, and I fully agree with what he said, but we have to have faith that we can. In our small world, every game we've produced online has been attributed to a non-Arab company. Because, and the comments we get, this is, alhamdulillah, but they're saying this is too good to be coming from the Arab world.
Yeah.
Why? I struggle to understand that. So I really think a big success story, and this will be a function of everything you've talked about: payment methods, investors, academia. We'll bring it all together to create one big success story. And I think people should not be discouraged, or anybody in this ecosystem, like investors, about some of the closings. I mean, you wanted to talk about that at some point. A lot of companies closed down in the last year or so in gaming, but that's okay. I mean, what,
Sure.
10 out of whatever. So really, I think a success story. I hope one of us will be it, or anybody else in the crowd.
This is normal. So if there's any question, we can take questions. Otherwise, we have another question to the speakers about the investors. Any question? Yes.
Is there any more?
Mike, please.
The culture issues, cultural issues.
Yes. I can answer this actually in another way. First of all, we have to educate people that games is not bad. I can if you go to the history, games has been invented. Have been invented to fight the unbearable hunger. This is why games created at the beginning. So, for example, in Ramadan, if you fast, if you wanna just forget about the food, you just play games. So games can be treated in more than one thing, and actually this is behind our value and strategy. So whenever we introduce a game, we make sure that the user get benefit out of this game. Either they learn something or they fix their mood. Some of the games called executive games means that if you are the CEO, you have lots of pressure. To get rid of this pressure, you just go play 5 minutes Angry Birds, for example. You will get relieved and then you will come back to work. So here we need to package the game as a good thing, not an evil. So this is actually behind our plan. We are here not just to make money. We want to add something, value to the user if they played games. And now one of the most trending word in the business in the world is the edutainment or the educational games. You give your kids the iPad. They learn how to speak English, for example, by playing a game. So game is not meant to be just bad thing or aggressive or just for addiction. No, there are good things behind games, and this is what we have to present.
I do agree, and it's not only Jordanian cultural things, it's worldwide. The concerns were before, but we have to remember that we were in a, and I mentioned yesterday on the ICT educational panel, we were a console PC type of gamers, and our parents were away from us in terms of playing the games. So today, it all changed. Parents are playing games. Parents are holding smartphones, tablets, and they are playing, and they are understanding the importance of this tool today for the education and the path for the children. Now, it's a responsibility from game developers, from publishers, and for the whole ecosystem, what to present. And that's what's happening today. I don't think there is no one single study today that on console or PC that confirmed the evil side of gaming. Otherwise, I will not be sitting here today, because I'm one of the gamers who was playing since I was a kid games until I'm today running a company and playing games. So there is no evil side until today. But yes, as coffee, it's bad if you drink it, or as water, if it's bad if you drink it over the dose. So it's...
my colleagues here have commented on one aspect, which I'll leave because it's been talked about very thoroughly. I have to say that I love the question. The question it merits a whole session by itself. This is something I touched on briefly, maybe, in that this is why all companies worldwide have not found a base for themselves so that they can basically make money out of this region. Why? Because it's a different culture. Now, as examples of this is, I also said before that this is a homegrown grassroots type of business. So you worry about the culture when it's always imported, but when the culture itself produces its game, like it produces its film, like it produces all its intellectual property, we as game development companies will give you the electronic media game version of the intellectual property, which is already culturally screened. So this is I feel a very important point. Second of all, which is an internal matter, this is why I think we have to export games rather than import games, which has happened with every civilization. Our real challenge in terms of culture is internal to us, and this is something that's very important to any content company in the Middle East, in that we don't have one culture. The culture in Jordan, Saudi, Qatar, Kuwait, Egypt before, and Egypt now, and Lebanon before, and even now.
Saudi, Mahmoud.
Yeah, and Saudi.
Divided.
Even Saudi, the level of tolerance, the level of what's acceptable is a nightmare for content producers. So there's another aspect of culture in that we don't know what culture to develop for. We have one common aspect, which is the language. We have one common aspect, which is the general mood. You know, but in terms of what's acceptable in the market, it's extremely difficult. So the issue of culture is a very important one, like the issue of language in games. Sorry, just to expand your question. Language. What is the spoken game language in the Middle East? Assalamu alaikum wa kayfa haluka ya bunay? No. Gamers don't want that. So institutions around the Arab world need to come up with the slang of the Arabic world, because now the Arabic language is invaded by 7ALFG8:X. Nobody knows what we're saying. So, but a certain generation does. So if we keep it that will become the language of games. So the language of games culturally is also an extremely big challenge. But these are some of the issues that are interesting to discuss and have to be discussed to mature our industry.
And just to come back again at the importance of the question, we don't have rating today bodies in Jordan for gaming. For in the region, actually. So we don't have, like in Europe or in the US, a body that say this is 16 or this is played by everyone, a family game, etc. And that's an opportunity today in the ecosystem. Someone to come and invest in a body that will rate games, not only mobile and online games. So we don't have this body, and this is a great opportunity for the whole region.
Iran is producing it.
Iran is doing it. Iran is the only.
Yeah, rating needs support from the
True.
system, actually. It needs support from the system. So if you want to provide any game, it should be rated, for example, by Maisel Ward, and the stamp should be there.
True.
So certification needs also a system to support it.
Yeah.
Well, we have one more question, please.
My name is Omar Ja'bari. I'm a research analyst at the Arab Advisors Group. My question is, when are we going to see a game, a Jordanian game on PlayStation 3 or 4?
You just missed the video.
You just missed the video.
All right, there was one.
It's a global game we just launched last month.
What is it?
It's a table football game.
All
So
right.
it's using the wireless move controllers on the PlayStation 3, and it's been developed in 8 languages.
Any action game though?
Any action game?
First-person shooter or anything?
Okay, I can't see another first-person shooter game. I think it's become overused, and it's just one franchise, and every year they win the same prize. So
We are going to publish a third-person shooter game,
All
but
right, thank
not
you.
develop. Yeah.
Okay, thank you all for attending this event. Thank you, my distinguished guests.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I think it's time for lunch. Sorry? I think they told us, okay, I'm sorry for that. So I'll keep it for the host. Thank you.